Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the ESS Endeavour, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel, watching the vast expanse of space stretch before her. The ship's quantum sensors had detected something unprecedented, a massive energy signature approaching from the Centauri sector. Multiple vessels detected, Admiral. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez reported from his station. Configuration unknown. Size, enormous. They're making no attempt to hide their approach. Sarah maintained her composure, though her heart raced. After centuries of speculation, humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization was about to happen. The Endeavour, along with its sister ships Horizon and Discovery, represented Earth's finest achievements. Vessels equipped with experimental quantum drives and neural-linked defense systems. All stations, battle-ready but weapons cold, she ordered. Let's not give our visitors any reason for concern. The alien ships emerged from fold space in a display of technological mastery that made Earth's best ships look primitive by comparison. 7 vessels, each easily dwarfing the Endeavour, arranged themselves in a perfect hexagon formation, with one ship at the center. Their hulls seemed to ripple with living metal, ghostly blue energy coursing through geometric patterns across their surface. "We're being hailed," Communications Officer Yuki Tanaka announced. "The signal. It's like nothing I've ever seen. But the AI is adapting to it." "On screen," Sarah ordered, straightening her uniform. The holographic display materialized, revealing a being that appeared almost crystalline in nature. Multiple limbs moved with liquid grace as it regarded the human crew with compound eyes that shifted through impossible colors. "I am High Counselor Zextal of the Galactic Concordat," the being announced, its words translated by the ship's eye. "We have observed your species' emergence into space with great interest." Sarah bowed slightly. "Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Space Force. We welcome peaceful contact with the Concordat." The alien's crystalline features shifted in what might have been amusement. "Your species has achieved rudimentary space travel capabilities. However, our scans indicate concerning technological disparities. Your drives are inefficient. Your weapons rely on primitive particle acceleration. Your computational systems are limited." "We are a young spacefaring species," Sarah acknowledged, "but we learn quickly. We seek to join the galactic community and contribute." "Contribute," Zextal interrupted. "Your species barely understands basic fold physics. Your neural interfaces are crude approximations of true consciousness integration. You still rely on biological decision-making for critical systems." The dismissal in the alien's tone was clear. Sarah felt her jaw tighten but maintained her diplomatic stance. "Perhaps if you shared some of your knowledge." "The Concordat has strict protocols regarding technological uplift," Zextal stated. "Species must reach certain benchmarks independently to prove their worthiness. Your civilization falls far short of minimum requirements. Until you achieve approved technological standards, you will be restricted to your local space. A quarantine barrier will be established at the edge of your solar system." Sarah's first officer, Commander David Park, stepped forward. "You can't just lock us out of the galaxy. We have colonies, trade routes. Your existing colonies will be permitted to maintain minimal contact with Earth," Zextal said dismissively. "But no further expansion will be allowed. This is for your own protection. Lesser species who advance too quickly often destroy themselves." The transmission ended abruptly. The alien ships began to move away, their drives distorting space itself. Sarah stood silent for a long moment, her crew watching her. Finally, she turned to her first officer. "David, send a priority message to Earth Command. Tell them it's time to activate Project Prometheus." "The prototype." David's eyes widened. "But it's not ready." "It will be," Sarah said firmly. "They think we're primitive. Fine. Let them think that. But humanity didn't get this far by accepting arbitrary limitations." She turned back to the viewport, watching the alien ships vanish. "Send another message to the research team on Titan. Tell them everything just became urgent." As the Endeavour turned back toward Earth, Sarah thought about the prototype being built in secret beneath Titan's frozen surface. The Concordat thought they were dealing with a simple, primitive species. They thought humans would accept their place and stay quietly within their boundaries. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. In the depths of Titan's underground facilities, a ship unlike any other was taking shape. A vessel that combined Earth's primitive technology with innovations the Concordat had never imagined. They thought human biological decision-making was a weakness. They were about to learn why coupling human intuition with advanced technology made them more dangerous, not less. The galaxy had dismissed humanity as a lesser species. In doing so, they had made a crucial mistake. They had given humanity something to prove. Deep beneath Titan's frozen methane seas, Dr. Elena Santos walked through the massive construction bay, her footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. Above her loomed the fruit of 5 years' intense labor, humanity's answer to the Concordat's arrogance. Status report. She called out to her team of engineers scattered across multiple levels of scaffolding surrounding the massive vessel. Quantum core integration at 97%. Dr. Raj Patel responded from his station. The biological neural matrix is accepting the synthetic overlays better than expected. Elena smiled. The Concordat had mocked humanity's reliance on biological processing. They didn't understand that this supposed weakness was about to become their greatest strength. "Show me the integration tests," she ordered, approaching the central holographic display. The massive screen lit up, displaying real-time data from their prototype, the ESS Prometheus. Unlike conventional ships, Prometheus wasn't just built, it was grown. Crystalline lattices interwoven with organic neural pathways, quantum processors merged with biological decision matrices. They scan for advanced technology, Elena explained to the assembled team. But they don't look for what they consider primitive. That's their blind spot. The ship's outer hull appeared deceptively simple, a design the Concordat would dismiss as crude. But beneath that facade lay innovations that would shake the galaxy's foundations, organic computing cores that could adapt and evolve, weapon systems that utilized supposedly primitive ballistic principles in ways that would bypass advanced energy shields. "Dr. Santos," a voice called from above. "The consciousness integration chamber is ready." Elena took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth, the feature that would either prove humanity's greatest achievement or its most spectacular failure. She made her way to a sealed chamber near the ship's core, where Captain Michael Chen waited. He would be Prometheus's first commander, assuming the integration succeeded. Having second thoughts, Elena asked him as technicians attached neural interfaces. Michael shook his head. "The Concordat thinks human consciousness is a limitation. Time to prove them wrong." The integration process began. Unlike the Concordat's pure AI systems, Prometheus would be guided by a hybrid consciousness. Human intuition and experience merged with quantum computing power. The ship wouldn't just follow orders. It would understand intent, anticipate needs, and adapt in ways no pure AI could match. "Neural pathways aligning," Raj reported. "Consciousness framework stable. Quantum entanglement holding at. Wait, these readings." Elena rushed to his station. The displays showed energy patterns they'd never seen in testing. The ship's systems weren't just accepting Michael's consciousness. They were evolving, creating new neural pathways, expanding beyond their original design parameters. "This is impossible," Raj whispered. "The computational complexity. It's beyond anything we predicted." In the integration chamber, Michael opened his eyes. But he wasn't just seeing through them anymore. He was seeing through every sensor, every camera, every quantum scanner built into Prometheus's hull. He felt the ship's systems as extensions of his own body. "How do you feel?" Elena asked over the intercom. "I feel complete," Michael responded, his voice resonating with newfound depth. "The ship, it's not just responding to commands, it's anticipating them. We're thinking together." Elena turned to her team, triumph in her eyes. Begin full systems test. Let's show the galaxy what primitive humans can do. Over the next weeks, Prometheus exceeded every expectation. Its hybrid systems proved more adaptable than pure quantum tech. Its weapons, combining kinetic force with quantum principles, could bypass the most advanced shields. Most importantly, its human AI integration allowed for strategic decisions that no conventional computer could match. Final test complete, Elena announced to Earth Command during their secure briefing. Prometheus isn't just ready, it's better than we hoped. The Concordat's sensors will see exactly what we want them to see. A large but seemingly primitive human vessel. They won't realize its true capabilities until it's too late. Excellent work, Dr. Santos, Admiral Chen's hologram replied. But we've just received reports of increased pirate activity near our outer colonies. The Concordat's restrictions have made them bold. They think we're defenseless. Elena shared a knowing look with Michael, who now moved with the subtle grace of someone permanently connected to vast computational power. Perhaps it's time for Prometheus's first field test. Agreed, the Admiral nodded. The pirates have been hitting isolated colonies, counting on the fact that our primitive ships are too slow to respond. Let's show them how wrong they are. As the briefing ended, Elena watched preparation crews making final adjustments to Prometheus's systems, the ship that would change everything. The Concordat had given humanity a choice: accept their limitations or prove them wrong. Humanity had chosen option 3, transcend those limitations in ways the Concordat never imagined possible. They thought human biology was a weakness. They were about to learn why evolution had made humans the ultimate survivors. In the integration chamber, Michael smiled. Through Prometheus's sensors, he could feel the vibrations of the final preparations, the hum of systems that represented humanity's greatest achievement. The pirates would be their first test, but not their last. The galaxy was about to learn a crucial lesson. Never underestimate a species that had survived its own worst instincts to reach the stars. The Concordat's high chamber erupted in chaos. Holographic representatives from 100 species gesticulated and argued while recordings of the Prometheus incident played on floating displays throughout the vast chamber. High Counselor Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with agitation. Order. We will have order. How do you explain this? Demanded Representative Kizoth of the Meridian Collective, their plasma-based form flickering intensely. A species you deemed primitive just demonstrated technology that defies our understanding. The recordings played again. A human vessel performing impossible maneuvers, defeating advanced shields with seemingly primitive weapons, displaying capabilities that shouldn't exist according to Concordat doctrine. The humans must have received outside help, insisted Security Director Vex Moore, their crystal segments grinding in agitation. No species advances this quickly independently. Our monitoring stations detect no evidence of external technological assistance, countered Science Director Liara, a being of pure energy contained within a sophisticated field. Their advancement appears entirely original. In the shadows of the chamber's upper tiers, Ambassador Talia Chen of Earth, newly appointed after the Prometheus incident, watched the proceedings with careful neutrality. The Concordat had been forced to accept a human representative after the demonstration of their capabilities, though they tried to minimize her role. Perhaps, rumbled Representative Dorn of the Silicum Consciousness, we should consider that our assessment protocols are flawed. We judge human technology by our standards, never considering they might develop along different paths. Different paths. Zextal scoffed. Their computational systems are biological. Their weapons use physical projectiles. Their ships still require human operators. And yet, Talia spoke for the first time, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. Those primitive systems just proved superior to your advanced technology. The chamber fell silent. Many representatives turned to look at the human ambassador, some with curiosity, others with poorly concealed alarm. You weren't recognized, Ambassador, Zextal said coldly. No, Talia agreed, standing. Humanity hasn't been recognized in many ways. We were judged, dismissed, and restricted, all based on assumptions about what constitutes advanced technology. That was your first mistake. She descended to the chamber floor, her movements deliberate and confident. Your second mistake was assuming that isolation would keep us contained. Instead, it forced us to innovate, to think differently, to solve problems in ways your doctrine never considered. Are you threatening the Concordat? Vexmore demanded. Not at all. Talia smiled. I'm offering you an opportunity. Humanity doesn't want conflict. We want collaboration. But real collaboration, not subordination disguised as protection. Displays throughout the chamber shifted, showing new images. The disabled pirate vessels, the saved colony, the precise and measured response that had preserved life while demonstrating overwhelming superiority. We could have destroyed those ships, Talia continued. Instead, we disabled them. We could have kept our technology secret. Instead, we let you observe. We could have rejected your authority entirely. Instead, I'm here, offering partnership. Stolen tech, Michael mused. Let's see how well they understand what they've taken. Initiative protocols active. Prometheus, combat analysis. The ship's hybrid consciousness merged with his own, processing combat scenarios at quantum speeds while incorporating human intuition. In microseconds, they had computed and discarded thousands of possible approaches. Colony shield failure imminent, Martins warned. Time to demonstrate why humanity's primitive approach has its advantages, Michael announced. Execute quantum shift. Space twisted. To the pirates' sensors, the human rescue vessel simply vanished. Their confusion lasted precisely 2.3 seconds before Prometheus reappeared, directly in their formation. By all means, Michael broadcast on open frequencies, please keep those shields up. The pirates' response was predictable. They opened fire with their energy weapons. Advanced Concordat-derived beams splashed harmlessly against Prometheus's seemingly primitive hull. Impossible, came the pirate leader's transmission. Your shields. You have no shield signature. Correct, Michael replied calmly. We don't need them. Prometheus, demonstrate why. The ship's hybrid weapon systems activated. To an outside observer, they appeared to be simple kinetic weapons, primitive projectiles that any decent energy shield should stop. But these projectiles carried a surprise. As they impacted the pirates' shields, they didn't try to break through. Instead, they created quantum resonance points, microscopically precise weaknesses in the shield harmonics. The pirates' stolen Concordat technology worked against them, their shields collapsing from the inside out. How this is impossible, the pirate leader sputtered. Your weapons are primitive. Your ship is primitive. A common misconception, Michael responded as Prometheus's secondary systems targeted the now shieldless vessels with surgical precision. We find it useful to let people underestimate us. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted less than a minute. 5 pirate ships disabled, their weapons and engines offline but crews alive. A deliberate choice that would send a message far stronger than destruction. The 6th ship, the leader's vessel, remained partially functional. You're being boarded, Michael informed the surviving pirates as Prometheus's hybrid boarding teams. Humans enhanced with quantum neural interfaces breached their hulls. I suggest cooperation. We're primitive humans, after all. We might not understand all your advanced surrender protocols. Through Prometheus's sensors, Michael watched the colony's people emerging from their shelters, staring in awe at the scene above them. He also detected something else, a faint quantum signature at the edge of the system. A Concordat observation post, witnessing everything. Perfect. Send word to Earth Command, he ordered Martins. Operation proving ground successful. And add a note. Tell them the audience we expected was watching. As Prometheus's crews secured the disabled pirate vessels, Michael felt a deep satisfaction through his neural link. The ship shared his sentiment. Their first real combat test had been flawless, but more importantly, they had achieved their true objective. By now, the Concordet's observers would be frantically reporting what they had witnessed. Impossible readings from a supposedly primitive vessel. Shields that didn't exist but somehow worked. Weapons that shouldn't work but did. A human ship moving in ways their understanding of physics said it couldn't. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's primitive approach to technology wasn't a weakness. It was simply a different path to advancement. One that had just proved itself superior to centuries of Concordat doctrine. "Sir," Foster reported, "we're receiving thank you messages from the colony. They're calling us their guardians." Michael smiled. "Tell them we're just the beginning. Humanity's got a lot more surprises coming for the galaxy." In the quantum realms between spaces, Prometheus's hybrid consciousness hummed in agreement. The age of underestimating humanity was coming to an end. The Concordat's high chamber erupted in chaos. Holographic representatives from 100 species gesticulated and argued while recordings of the Prometheus incident played on floating displays throughout the vast chamber. High Counselor Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with agitation. "Order. We will have order." "How do you explain this?" demanded Representative Kazoth of the Meridian Collective, their plasma-based form flickering intensely. "A species you deemed primitive just demonstrated technology that defies our understanding." The recordings played again. A human vessel performing impossible maneuvers, defeating advanced shields with seemingly primitive weapons, displaying capabilities that shouldn't exist according to Concordat doctrine. "The humans must have received outside help," insisted Security Director Vex Moore, their crystal segments grinding in agitation. "No species advances this quickly independently. Our monitoring stations detect no evidence of external technological assistance," countered Science Director Leora, a being of pure energy contained within a sophisticated field. "Their advancement appears entirely original." In the shadows of the chamber's upper tiers, Ambassador Talia Chen of Earth, newly appointed after the Prometheus incident, watched the proceedings with careful neutrality. The Concordat had been forced to accept a human representative after the demonstration of their capabilities, though they tried to minimize her role. "Perhaps," rumbled Representative Dorn of the Silicon Consciousness, "we should consider that our assessment protocols are flawed. We judged human technology by our standards, never considering they might develop along different paths." "Different paths?" Zextal scoffed. "Their computational systems are biological. Their weapons use physical projectiles. Their ships still require human operators." And yet, Talia spoke for the first time, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. "Those primitive systems just prove superior to your advanced technology." The chamber fell silent. Many representatives turned to look at the human ambassador, some with curiosity, others with poorly concealed alarm. "You weren't recognized, Ambassador," Zextal said coldly. "No," Talia agreed, standing. "Humanity hasn't been recognized in many ways. We were judged, dismissed, and restricted, all based on assumptions about what constitutes advanced technology. That was your first mistake." She descended to the chamber floor, her movements deliberate and confident. "Your second mistake was assuming that isolation would keep us contained. Instead, it forced us to innovate, to think differently, to solve problems in ways your doctrine never considered." "Are you threatening the Concordat?" Vex Moore demanded. "Not at all," Talia smiled. "I'm offering you an opportunity. Humanity doesn't want conflict. We want collaboration. But real collaboration, not subordination disguised as protection." Displays throughout the chamber shifted, showing new images. The disabled pirate vessels, the saved colony, the precise and measured response that had preserved life while demonstrating overwhelming superiority. "We could have destroyed those ships," Talia continued. "Instead, we disabled them. We could have kept our technology secret. Instead, we let you observe. We could have rejected your authority entirely. Instead, I'm here, offering partnership." "Partnership?" Kazoth's plasma form pulsed with interest. "What kind of partnership?" one based on mutual respect and the recognition that different approaches to technology can coexist and complement each other. Talia gestured to the displays. The Prometheus represents more than just advanced technology. It represents the integration of biological and quantum systems, of human intuition and machine precision, of what you call primitive and what you call advanced. The chamber buzzed with discussion. Several representatives were already forming into groups, alliances shifting visibly. And if we refuse? Zextal asked quietly. Then humanity will continue to develop independently, Talia replied. We'll protect our colonies, expand our understanding of the universe, and advance in our own way. But consider this. The Prometheus was our first attempt at combining our approaches to technology. Imagine what we could achieve together. Science Director Liera floated forward. I move that we establish a joint technological exchange program with Earth. Clearly, there are gaps in our understanding that need to be addressed. Seconded, came multiple voices. You would reward their defiance of Concordat restrictions, Zextal demanded. We would acknowledge our error in imposing those restrictions, Dorn responded, and perhaps learn from it. The vote, when it came, was decisive. The majority of representatives voted to establish formal relations with Earth, with provisions for technological and cultural exchange. As the session ended, Talia felt her secure communicator vibrate. A message from Earth Command. Second fleet of hybrid ships ready for launch. Proceed as planned. She smiled, sending back a single word. Hold. The Concordat had chosen wisdom over pride. They would adapt, learn, and grow, or they would become obsolete. Either way, humanity's place in the galaxy was secured not through force, but through innovation and the willingness to think differently. As she left the chamber, Talia heard the representatives still discussing the implications of human technology. They were beginning to understand that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their ships or weapons. It was in their ability to see beyond conventional limitations and imagine new possibilities. The galaxy was changing, and humanity, once dismissed as primitive, was helping to guide that change. 1 year after the Prometheus incident, the observation deck of Earth's new Galactic Embassy station hummed with activity. Through its quantum glass windows, vessels of all species moved in harmonious patterns. Sleek Concordat ships flew alongside hybrid human vessels, while merchants from a dozen worlds conducted trade in the bustling docking bays. Admiral Sarah Chen, now Earth's Supreme Commander of Joint Fleet Operations, stood beside Captain Michael Chen as they watched a remarkable sight. The first graduating class of the Interspecies Technology Integration Academy. Did you ever imagine this when we first built Prometheus? Sarah asked, watching as crystalline Concordat officers chatted with human cadets, while energy beings from the Meridian Collective demonstrated quantum principles to silicon-based life forms. Not even in my wildest dreams, Michael replied, his neural linked to Prometheus, now the flagship of humanity's growing fleet, providing him with constant updates about the station's operations. Though I must admit, seeing a Concordat high engineer trying to understand biological computing is quite entertaining. Below them, in one of the station's main laboratories, Dr. Elena Santos was leading the joint research team. Their current project, integrating human biological neural networks with Concordat quantum crystals to create a new generation of hybrid systems. Emergency fold space signature detected. Prometheus's consciousness alerted Michael through their link. But before alarm could spread, he smiled. Right on schedule, he commented as space itself seemed to twist before the station. A massive ship emerged, but unlike anything the galaxy had seen before, its hull seamlessly blended organic curves with crystalline structures, while energy patterns reminiscent of Meridian technology danced across its surface. A harmony, Sarah announced proudly. First of the new joint species vessels, crewed by humans, Concordat, Meridians, and Silicon Consciousness members. A true collaboration. The ship was more than just a technological marvel, it was a symbol. Each species had contributed their unique approaches, human biological integration, concordat quantum engineering, meridian energy manipulation, and silicon consciousness processing architectures. Together, they had created something greater than any one civilization could have achieved alone. Initial test results are exceeding expectations, Michael reported, receiving data through his link. The hybrid systems are showing a 300% efficiency increase over traditional methods. And to think, a new voice joined them. A year ago, some of us still considered humans primitive. They turned to find High Counselor Zextal approaching, their crystalline form now modified with subtle organic elements, a fashion that had become popular among younger Concordat members. "We've all learned from our mistakes," Sarah replied diplomatically. The old way of judging advancement by a single technological path was limiting everyone's potential. "Indeed," Zextal agreed. "Though I must admit, watching pirates' faces when they realize their stolen Concordat technology is useless against your primitive weapons still brings me considerable amusement." The station's main display activated, showing real-time footage from across known space. Hybrid ships patrolling trade routes. Joint research stations pushing the boundaries of science. Colonies where multiple species lived and worked together, each contributing their unique perspectives to solving universal challenges. "We've received another application for technological exchange programs," Michael noted, reviewing the data. "The Duraxian Empire. They were skeptical of human methods just months ago. Nothing convinces like success." Sarah smiled. "Especially when that success comes from approaches they previously dismissed." Through the quantum glass, they watched as the Harmony began its integration trials. The ship's hybrid crew worked in perfect synchronization, each species' strengths complementing the others. When the vessel activated its new fold space drive, combining human intuition, Concordat quantum mechanics, meridian energy manipulation, and silicon processing, it created a jump point more stable and efficient than any previously achieved. "A new golden age of exploration and discovery," Zextal observed. "Perhaps we needed humanity's primitive perspective to break us free from our own limitations." "Not primitive," Sarah corrected gently. "Just different. The universe is too vast for any one approach to be the only right answer." As if to emphasize her point, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. A spatial anomaly had been detected at the edge of charted space, something unlike anything encountered before. "All ships reporting ready," Michael announced, his link to Prometheus already processing possible responses. "Joint species fleet standing by for orders." Sarah looked at the assembled group. Human, crystalline, energy, and silicon-based life forms, all working together, each bringing their unique perspectives and capabilities to face the unknown. "This is what we built this alliance for," she said, "not just to prove ourselves, but to face the universe's challenges together, each of us contributing what makes us unique." As the joint species fleet moved out to investigate the anomaly, Sarah reflected on how far they'd come. From being dismissed as primitive to helping lead a new age of galactic cooperation and discovery. Humanity had done more than just prove itself. It had helped create something entirely new. The galaxy had learned a vital lesson. True advancement comes not from following a single path, but from embracing diverse approaches and perspectives. And humanity, once considered primitive, had become the catalyst for this transformation. As Prometheus led the fleet toward their next adventure, its hybrid consciousness echoed with a simple truth. The greatest discoveries come not from proving others wrong, but from showing them new ways to be right.